Yo, what's going on, folks? It's me, Justin. I got my daily post up, and now I'm going to talk about AI. All right. Since starting this new site and working on it last night and getting the first articles published and the first articles generated and actually having a data set being fed into AI and then having it create good information, good articles about that information. I figured, hey, here's how I'm doing it. So boom. So I'm using the bulk publishing spreadsheet, of course. I believe this would really work for any AI text generation tools, and it's just a way to get exactly what you want out of it, as opposed to this kind of give it a headline or a title or a keyword and say, hey, write me an article about this, and it just kind of spits something out. Here's what I've been doing. So what it spits out on the other end is exactly what I'm looking for. And I think the best analogy I can make for this is like having a recipe and ingredients. All right. And I think my hands are backwards because my camera's flipped. But so how you want it to write, the prompt of how to write, that's like the recipe. And then what you want it to write about, those are the ingredients. And you can have, bad recipes, good recipes, bad ingredients, good ingredients, but the combination of the different things will output different results. You can make a cake with terrible ingredients and have no extra, and it will be a cake by definition and for all intents and purposes, but it's not necessarily a good cake. It's not a cake that is going to win awards. It is just a cake. So, I got made a little chart here in Google Sheets. You have like bad ingredients and a bad recipe, which will spit out bullshit. It's going to be factually incorrect. It's going to be stylistically and phonetically incorrect. It is I'm going to give it a keyword and have it generate everything for me with no input. And that's that. Granted, I'm not necessarily saying that's a bad thing, but it's not my thing. You can also have bad ingredients in a good recipe, meaning your prompt is very well written as far as how you want it to be written, but what it spits out is made up. It'd be like saying, hey, this jug of water can hold 5 gallons of water when it really holds half a gallon. It might sound good. It might sound truthful and honest and believable and confident, but what it's actually saying is bullshit. And then you have good ingredients in a bad recipe where you feed it data, but your prompt is lacking entirely. So what it's saying is correct. It is factually correct, but it's just boring. And it includes the word moreover every paragraph. You know what I'm talking about. This 5-gallon jug holds half a gallon. Moreover, it has a very grippy side so you can hang on to. Moreover, it has a latch for the thing. Moreover, you know what I'm saying? You've read that before. You've had that generated before, and it's shit. And then you have good ingredients and a good recipe, and that's the creme de la creme. That is, it's factually correct. It's stylistically and phonetically beautiful. It reads well. It's targeted to the audience that you're trying to write for. What it's saying is truthful, factual, correct, and depending on how you want to write that recipe, you can have it so it does a lot of the selling for you. All you have to do is get in there, format it, make it read well, get some bold and italics, some lists and some H tags and everything else. But, the actual text is juicy. All right. Now, let's scroll down a little bit. Boom, 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 boom. All right. So here's how I'm doing my recipes. Instead of just giving it an H tag and saying, here's the headline I want you to write about, I'm feeding it the title of the article, the section it is the H tag it'll go under, H2, and also the data that I've gathered that is being provided. And it's all just one concatenated formula that gives it every piece of information it needs to write something that continues the article as it should. Why I'm including the title is if you could have, let's say you're writing a review article for the C920, Logitech C920 HD webcam. That's what I've had this thing for like 8 years now. Jeez Louise, this thing's a troop, right? I want to make sure that the title's included. If I'm writing an article, is the C920 the best webcam for streamers? Here's the ultimate buyer's guide, that whole riffraff. Well, if I get a section called how much the C920X costs, and I don't include the title, but I do include the price, it's $50 or whatever it is. Well, it may start talking about Zoom calls and recording YouTube videos and, Skype calls with grandma. But it's supposed to be an article about streaming. So I want to include the title in there just so, hey, this is a blog about streaming. It's talking about the price of this webcam, and it costs $50. Okay, I have everything I need to produce a section about the price for streaming in this webcam. I didn't want to include the prompts that I use. I mean, if you're in the bulk publishing spreadsheet, you've made that purchase, you already know what I'm talking about. The prompts are basically the prompts that are provided in that. I didn't want to just copy and paste them in here because, buy them. But here's the one I have provided is one that I wrote just myself. Is I think anyway. If I'm not, sorry, I apologize in advance. But it's the introduction where I'm not really feeding in any data minus the introduction, or the title, just because there is no real data to be provided just yet. But write an introduction, totally unique to this blog post, coming from the perspective of someone who's, and at that point, that's where I can really customize it depending on what the articles are about. So I would have who's been streaming for years and uses the C9X or C920 webcam. That way, when they're talking about it, they're like, hey, I've been using this webcam for 5 years streaming on Twitch, and here's why I recommend it. Read on to learn more, or whatever it spits out. Obviously this isn't perfect. It can be a lot more refined and a lot more in depth, but it's just a general, hey, get started here type thing. You really don't need the HTML line breaks part. I need to remove that actually because using WPL import that actually the formatting turns out okay without the HTML. But here's kind of the general gist. Again, I'm not going to I didn't just copy and paste one of the default prompts from the bulk publishing spreadsheet in here, but I kind of broke it down in how they're crafted. I mean, I know prompts aren't copyrighted or anything like that, but just for the sake of, hey, the research was done. If you're in there, you know what I'm talking about. If you're not, then pay the $200 and get the damn product. It's great. Basically, broken down into write X number of words about this topic. You'll include a bunch of like stylistic choices. What kind of language is being used? What grade level is a good one? There's more. Basically, anything you could think of as far as attributes of text. Written at a college level, in the style of, I don't know, George Bush Sr. HTML markup, if you want it, include list, bold, italics, tags, things like that. You want to include something about using unique language and using, I'll just leave it at that, using unique language. And then something that limits it to only be talking about whatever section is being talked about. They're not like super long, and they could definitely be expanded on. You can make this really long and really in depth if you want. I really don't, because I found that by combining these two, I could have good ingredients and a decent recipe, and it'll still spit out something decent. But that's what we got. That's what I'm doing right now. I gathered the data for 15 products. I just did it manually because I didn't want to go and learn how to do some scraping tool nonsense for 15 products. That's really all I'm going to be doing at a time is about 15 to 20, or 10 to 15. Got that information in a spreadsheet. I can take that information and now I ran it through just like this. Title of the blog post is the best, why the C920 is the best streaming webcam for streamers. The section is titled Summary of the C920X. The data provided is, here's every piece of information I have, summarize that, and I have that at the top, a little like a buy now box, whatever. I'm going to take that box. That's what I'm using for all my alternatives to posts. And then after that is a few sections that just make sense based on the data I gathered. I don't think they're kind of universal. More or less, here's what I did. Here's the real breakdown, right? So I just went on Amazon. I got the, when we'll just continue talking about webcams. You go to the webcam page and it has bullet points, this webcam, 1080p, dim light source, blah, 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 all that information in one bullet point. Boom, copy that into a cell. Next bullet point, boom, sell. Usually about 5 to 6 per product. That's money right there. You take that. That's the data is provided, and then you have the title, the best webcam for streamers, C920X. The section is titled, the titled section is actually, I generated that based on the bullet points. So because they're not in any order, and I don't want to sit there and order every single section to be, similar across the board, and then have like similar H tags, H2s down the list. I just had the tool. I wrote a prompt real quick, basically like, what is this information talking about? If you could, title this as a book or something like that, what is this information talking about? Boom, it spit out. 1080p is all you need for streaming, and then the whole section, the data was all about how 1080p is great for streaming, and it gives you crisp quality views and the built-in dim light switcher, fluxinated, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, so it generated the title based on what the actual data provided was, and then the data provided is all the actual technical stuff, and then boom, I spit out basically from the perspective of a streamer saying, here's what this is, here's what this means, here's why it's important. And that's that. And then I just got to go and clean up all those posts and then create all the summary boxes for all those. And we'll do that right there. Yeah. Get all that figured out. Get those published. Do the programmatic pages after that. And then once all 15 of those review style articles are up, then create the top 15 webcams for streaming or whatever. And then probably get like maybe 5, 10, maybe 15 like pure informational articles in there. Probably go in and do the link whisper thing, get some internal links going, and then just move on to the next product suite, and the next one, and the next one, and keep going. And again, this project, yes, there's SEO components, but it's a very competitive space. I don't anticipate ranking very well, but what I am going to be doing is linking from my other site to this site, because I don't think that Amazon would work for my main site. So it's part of the ecosystem. It's just,